Hello. Hello.
Hello, hello.
Welcome to Two
Good
Single
morning.
Moms. Good morning, Tammy. I'm not gonna. We've spent the last half hour talking about how we aren't catching up, so we're not gonna go through that.
You're right.
But, it was good catching up with Tammy. So thanks.
Yeah, it's always good to catch up on our catch up time for sure. Thank you for joining us, everybody. And
In case you're new, you want to
we
tell
are.
us and where they can find
Yeah,
you and
sure. We are two psychic moms. So thanks for joining us for those returning and anybody new. So Julie and I come together and we channel information and messages from our guides. And sometimes we chat about cats and other things as well. So we really love to work with your questions, with our viewers' questions. So if you have some that are for, the general good of everybody, we also both offer private sessions. So you can get a hold of us individually. For me, tammysintuitive.com is my website. I do channel messages also on social media, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram, Tammy's Intuitive Services. And so that's how you can get a hold of me. And how about for you, Julie?
So I'm not going to lie. I have taken many steps back from social media. So while you can probably find me there, it's not the best place. I can be found at juliehawkins.com or bizpsychic.com. And I haven't even blogged. I mean, I just really have kind of pulled back to, I enjoy doing this and having the life I have. And this is where it's at. But yes, readings and my website. I will share that I'll go back a little bit if you can see my shirt.
Oh, yeah. So cute. So cute.
It's my cat shirt.
I love it.
They're not mine, but they could be representative of a few.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, because we are cat moms and we love our kitties.
Yep, we do. They're the best. My cat, Jake, just turned 18. Julie turned 18. Well, we say approximately because we base that on initially when we adopted both of our cats together. One has passed since, but of what the vet said about, how old they thought they were kind of thing. And so I've just always created a birthday for him. So yeah, so he's approximately 18 years old and he's a skinny little guy, but he's doing okay. I mean, he's in good spirits and all of that stuff. So we'll see, how long he decides to stay on the planet with us, but he's doing good. He's such a sweetheart. Just love him up. I do some channel talks with him, by the way.
He enjoys that.
What's that? Oh,
said he enjoys that. I just got that he's like, it's like he gets to kick back, give you the benefit of some of his input and wisdom. And I don't even know if I can explain the feeling. He just like gets to kick back is what he's showing me. So.
Oh, that's sweet. Thank you. Yeah, I think he does enjoy those talks as well. I get that from him that he likes that,
I am okay. Yeah. I know this won't be a surprise to anybody, but I subscribe to Catster magazine.
I've never heard of that one.
It's got it was in the vet's office, and I'm like, oh, that looks interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So the last one I saw, they did an article about cat age and how it's calculated. I'm not going to go into it, but they have a chart here, and at 18 years, he's about 88 years old.
He is. I have that on my phone as a screen. I mean, as one of my photos, so I can always refer to. Yes, that's what I have too on mine. 88.
Not quite as old as the Queen.
Right, exactly.
But old enough, right?
Yeah, I know. I'm just like I just call my little old man now. He's just, he's just a sweet thing. It is. The last time we were at the vet, he did say about, he was concerned about his weight loss, but it would have required a lot more tests. And frankly, he's doing fine. If he wasn't, I would have considered just getting like at least an ultrasound to see if they're seeing anything in there and all that. But he's actually normal acting. What's that?
How much does he weigh?
Oh gosh, you know what? I don't know. I have to go back and look at what the paper was. I mean, he's not much, 11 pounds maybe, or
Still kind of normal.
yeah, I mean, I have to look. I may be wrong on that. Maybe think of another time. But what was dropped, speaking of, being intuitive, is that's why you're all here, because we're intuitive. Anyway, I got, Julie, I was going to tell you one of those drop-in messages from my guides, like kind of early-ish. It's the usual in that morning when they try to get me like that. And I assume it's about him because they said excessive weight loss. That's what they told me. And then, of course, it concerned me because I didn't know who it was about. At that point, it was gone. I couldn't get back into it. I assumed it was probably my cat, because he is the one that's got the obvious issue of that right now. Because, hearing that, I mean, gosh, if it was one of us humans, that means there would be an illness, and that would be very concerning. I'm thinking it probably was about my kitty, and it might be just another warning I'm getting, not warning, but you know what I mean, preparation. Yeah, for him. And I know he does that with me when I talk with him. And he said that for last birthday. I think he talked about, that he'd probably be going home soon. And every so often, if I tune into him and I are talking, he'll tell me about that. And both of my cats have been very good about kind of warning me, letting me know as they were getting closer. I mean, it still is, really sad for me, obviously, when they leave, but I do appreciate, that they're trying their best to kind of prepare, I think.
I think that's remarkable, truly, and very generous. And it makes me think I need to have more conversations with my cats.
Yeah.
There's so many of them.
Yeah. Okay, today is your day. I'm going to communicate with you today. Yeah. So anyway, just sharing that. So we did have, are we going to go with the questions that we had, these last questions?
Yeah, just the three.
Okay.
We have from Daphne is what we have.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Daphne, because we love your questions. We do.
Thank you, Daphne. Yep.
Even you always, I know Tammy always says, I'm not really like the political one so much, but they're not really, I mean, they are a little, well, anyway, you'll just hear for yourself.
Yeah. I'll just open up to what I get. Generally, yeah, the ones for I think my guides understand, like, I mean, not that I'm not tuned in at all, but frankly, I have not been tuned in politically at all recently. But I think they know I just kind of just goes over my head, kind of like, oh, just almost like a yawn, and I don't mean that disrespectfully. I know those things are important in our world too. I totally know that, but just for me personally, I just have it's probably a past life thing. I don't know. Maybe I was too involved in politics in a previous life.
For sure, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. But anyway, okay, so how would you like to address this? Do you want me to read it for you this time and delve in?
Maybe you were a politician.
That's what I'm wondering. Honestly, if I looked into it, I'm sure I'd get some information on what I contributed or did not contribute. Well, you know what I'm getting immediately? I'm sorry, just got to share this. I didn't mean to really share this, but I just got a glimpse of that. No matter how hard I tried, this makes absolute sense to me as I'm hearing it. Oh my gosh. It was a situation where I think I was either involved in politics or political or something. And no matter how hard I was trying to push an agenda or something, it just fell short. And so you decided, my guides are saying, you decided, what's the purpose? What's the use? Not going there. So not that I'm totally, like I said, not engaged, but a lot of times I'm not. So that actually makes sense. It would be interesting for me to delve into that a little bit more as to what that was about. But it was, and I do feel like it was something very justified on my part. It was something very justified, but it wasn't going in my way, basically. Wasn't, you know what I mean, to my satisfaction. So
I don't think,
yeah.
Anyway, I mean, this could be a very long conversation about involved and who isn't. And I mean, so yeah, let's start with that and let's hear what they have.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I'll read this to you, since this is kind of a little bit more your arena, or you're more interested in that. I think you're better at it than I am. Okay. So the question is from Daphne. Lots have been happening politically. Lots of things have been happening politically. In reference to the previous session where we might be close in losing our democracy, what can we do to help with this political climate so that we won't lose our democracy?
Okay. So the first thing I heard them say, and they said to me was, and I was going to write it down, but here it is. Things are still very much in a state of flux. In other words, very fluid. Nothing is set, nothing being that you're going to lose your democracy. That doesn't mean you don't fight. And when we say fight for it, the way we encourage you in your democracy is to vote. And you know that.
Mhm.
And so, looking, even they said to me, even if it's a one issue voting, people who vote for one issue, this is big now. This is the bigger invitation and draw to people who are signing up to vote like they have never signed up to vote before. And the issue, of course, is all about abortion and women's right to their own body.
Mm.
And they're saying we feel so sad for you that this has happened and caused you the pain that it is causing, and the angst and anxiety and the untold damage that it will do to many of you, not just women, families, extended families. It radiates out. It's not just one person that it impacts when somebody is either forced to have a child or terminates a pregnancy. So that is the big draw for voting in your country at this time. And it is a big draw. And you probably heard this, and we're going to reinforce it. It really has nothing to do with party affiliation. I'm not going to get into the politics of it because that's not important. You can do that on your own. Just wanted to fill in that blank, or give you a little bit of that, just to rest assured. We think that at this point in time, it's going to be a big wave of new voters who, if they take the time to look and understand who's voting against their right to have what they want in the freedom and autonomy of their bodies, then we'll vote out people who stand against that. And that is anti-democracy in your country. So we think it is a positive step, and a very big step, and that it bodes well for it's different than we say keeping your democracy, okay? Because there's much more to it than just that vote. And that's a whole other deep question, okay? But we think what you're asking, and the way we want to pose our response then, is to say, take a deep breath, you know what to do, and trust that everything that is meant to happen for your best and highest good, as cliche as that sound, is going to happen. And that the collective unconscious, it's huge right now, huge in its one collective thought. So, which is, freedom and keeping the rights that you have all worked so hard to achieve. So hopefully that answers that. You want to add?
Yeah, that's great, Julie. Thank you very much. I don't have much to add to this. What I was just getting, I think it was well said, everything you said there, and that I agree that the idea of democracy is here to stay. It isn't like necessarily going away that I'm feeling. It might go like this, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, ebb and flow, and it just, right, valleys and peaks and all that stuff. And then what can we do for the sorry, I went into the first one. political climate, so that we won't lose our democracy. What I got in a nutshell for me is justice is such an individual process. So I agree with what Julie says. Voting obviously is a way, but it's like whatever you think that you can do and that you are being drawn to get involved in. They're showing me again about, remember, the world is about opportunity, and there will be many sides to many things. And you're choosing whatever cause lights you up and you want to get involved in. So what way can you help to not have it, go away? Is, yes, the obvious, voting, I suppose. Getting on your own soapbox is what I'm saying, to shout to the world, if you so choose to do that, of what your feelings are. And that the world is always, they're just saying the world is always going to be this way. It's always going to be opportunity, choice, and so forth. I'm hearing feedback. Do you hear it when I'm talking, Julie? Okay, it might be in my own. I'm gonna turn this down just a little bit. It's odd. Okay,
And
so that's really all.
yeah,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
add to that and just say they are always these waves
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
people wanting to come in and assert their power, and you have to fight.
Right.
It's not new to your country or to the world. This is age old.
Yeah, exactly. And you will find those people that you're going to get together with that have the same cause as you do, because they keep showing me individually. This really is a lot of individual lesson. I'm not saying it isn't for all as well collectively, but it's interesting. It's like you'll just be drawn to those groups, right? And my like-minded people that could, band together and make a difference. But it, first and foremost, it's very individual. So yeah, I mean, that's what I'm getting for all this question.
I mean, that's perfect. The collective unconscious is made up of individuals, right?
Mhm, mhm.
So
Yeah, yeah,
and then it goes out there.
right.
Group, and I may get the name wrong. I think it's called Indivisible or something like that, where I don't know, Daphne, email me privately, and or do a search. I know there's a group on Facebook. I can't remember. Maybe I'll do it before we hang up. Okay, go ahead. All right, next
Yeah. Yeah, next question. I was already kind of reading ahead on this. I'm going to say I'm getting similar information for this about the individual part. So number 2 is, I am still very saddened by the news of our climate change trajectory. What can we do to help reverse climate change? And I will ask that question of our guides, but they are showing almost the same thing individually. There are things that we can do. Again, whether we're just making that wiser choices, for the world and recycling and et cetera, et cetera. But let me see here. Okay, what can we do to help reverse climate change? Yeah, thank you. So by being proactive in your own individual efforts is exactly what I heard. Again, you could get into, again, a group and join a group that are, really their focus is to reverse climate change. And certainly there's strength in numbers, they just said. But again, it's going to be, what is it? I guess it's more, they're showing me researching what we think is causing climate change, and then individually asking yourself, what can I do to make a difference for myself, first of all, and what I can add or contribute or not do. And then secondly, are there groups I can join that are going toward this? So really, for me, bottom line, those are the answers I'm getting is, what can you do individually and maybe as a group as well, and research as to what the experts and the scientists are learning that is the problem of our climate change. And Julie, what about for you?
So what they told me is, they said, remember that article that you just read. So I read an article. It was about, what can you do for climate change? And it's like, when you think about it that way, it's ginormous, right? What can one person do? And they said, start in your own backyard. And it just really makes so much sense. If composting is your thing, compost. If getting plants, if you have a backyard or a yard, then get those things that are drought tolerant, and can plant trees. That contributes. You can't plant trees everywhere, but plant a little tree. If we all did that, it would certainly help. But the theme of it was focus on what you can do personally,
Mhm.
in either finding those things that will make a difference for the planet as time goes on. It starts with you, just as Tammy and as I said, it has to start with us, with one person
Yes.
individual. Then we have a big bill that was passed by this president that is going to address a lot of that. Not enough, but a lot of that, and it will lead the way for other nations to hopefully follow and comply, because it's not just us. I mean, China is a huge offender. Oh, so cute outside my window, a squirrel with a big net in his mouth.
Oh, I love that.
Um,
So
you know,
fallish.
Nuts, maybe they'll turn into trees, and I don't know, maybe they um yeah, that's all. Start small is what they're saying. Don't be overwhelmed by the big picture of it. What's going to happen is it's happening now. We can't we can't reverse that overnight. This is going to take, it's taken decades to get us here, and it's going to take us decades to get out of it. It will happen though. But the ugliness is we're just it's just the tip of the iceberg that's happening. So I feel sad for who we're leaving this to. And me personally, I think I'm glad I won't be here to see it and fight that fight. But it is the fight to fight. If we don't have a planet where we can inhabit it, and live in it, um, what's the point, right?
Yeah. No, it's true, Julie. And they're showing me again just that we have to remember we all come to the planet to go at just the right time. We come here at just the right time, believe it or not, right? To go through and experience, maybe see what we can contribute. There is no coincidence that we are here at this time. It's happened many lifetimes where you're just at where the world is in all different aspects at just the right time to either experience something or to be part of the change. So as as frustrating as it can be or sad as it can be, we have to remember that we're here to hear this information, to maybe experience some of it for some personally. And really we always have to go back to what is this doing for me? What am I learning from this? What feelings are coming out? What am I called to, for action to join something or do something? So keep your chin up. This is not an easy time for the planet, but it will shift. It will shift, ebb and flow again. Yes, like you're saying, peaks and valleys and all that stuff, right? So yeah. Anyway, but keep a positive thought. We have to do that in anything that's difficult. We do need to go back to that and know that we're also here to maybe help somehow. So how can I help? You have to ask yourself that.
We will say that it hasn't been. This is the peak of badness. It has never been this bad on your phone.
Mm.
It has been bad though. I mean, dinosaurs were hit, and it exploded the planet and killed
Mm.
off, a whole thing of dinosaurs, a whole race of dinosaurs. Not that we would want them around, but so the planet has survived a lot, and it will survive this, whether humans will. No, humans will survive it too. It's just there's going to be a lot of
Yeah,
hurt ahead, and you have to start small. So yeah.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I did find the group. Um, I know it's on Facebook, so you can search it that way, but I'm sure they have a website. This one is called Indivisible of California, but they have chapters. So in Campbell, there's Orchard City Indivisible. And it's, I can't even remember what it's about, but it's to take a stand, for your country, I guess. So yeah, look into that. Indivisible.
Mm.
Okay.
And we had,
I was just gonna say, climate change, honestly, the worst is still to come. And we adjust to certain things. Like it's now become normal for us to expect these horrible storms that are happening, whether they're firestorms or tornado storms or these mass floods. And the iceberg that was up in, I think, Iceland, is melted and or in the process of melting. That's going to raise sea level a lot. That's going to impact us a lot. Like maybe not you and I, on the West Coast, but in cities like, in India, near India or Bangladesh, it's wiping out their whole place of residence. So
wow, I know.
it's going to get worse. So
Yeah, it's interesting times, as we would all agree, right? Interesting times.
but again,
Should we?
focus on yourself and what you can do.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we bottom line are getting. Yeah, for those questions. So yeah, number 3, in the midst of rising prices, inflation, stocks tumbling, shops closing, when will we experience abundance again? Great question.
I got this information as a drop-in a while ago. You'd think I would write down those things down, but I just never do. And the information hasn't changed. What they told me in the drop-in was you're going to see a turnaround, if you will. We're going to come out of this starting at the beginning of next year. You're going to see more positive change in that way at the beginning of next year. And so much of this has to do with the pandemic. It's just so much of it was caused by that. And you're going to see what they're saying is like a steadying, an accepting and a living with this virus. And you're already seeing some of that now. And it's going to get better over time, where we just get like, the flu shot, we get the COVID shot, we get, those shots. And we learn to coexist. And when that begins to really become the norm, which you're going to see over the end of this year and into next year, a lot of things will then begin to stabilize. It's not going to solve every problem immediately, but you will see an upturn start to happen at the beginning. They keep saying to me March. So maybe somewhere in the first quarter, the end of the first quarter, maybe the beginning of the second quarter, you're going to see more stability and more prosperity and abundance coming, at least in the way of the stock market. Because personally, I asked that too. I'm like, geez, I didn't have a lot, but I've lost with, a lot in comparison. So I guess sometimes I ask those questions randomly and then they answer them, So yeah, that's what we're seeing.
Okay, good. Thank you. Yeah, so for myself, I'm just kind of looking at like, I think we have to be careful to buying into too much of the sadness that's been happening around this, because I'm one of those that sees these shops closing and I'm just so saddened by it. Like, oh, that store closed and they're never, it's still sitting empty. And we've all seen that places, right? But they're showing me that be careful of wallowing in the sadness. First time I'm hearing this, so I need to hear this for myself. But they are saying, because that, of course, is an energy we put out. If we're all banding in on that, oh, which is normal. We first feel that, like, oh, what a loss. You hope the people that, are doing okay, that had the business, that felt like they had to close it or whatever. But so I'm going to go there first about keeping positive, staying positive. In fact, they're showing me, instead of looking at the store closed, think, oh, I can't wait to see that it opens again, or that something else is going to go in there that's going to be really, prosperous and something that everybody can enjoy. And to start putting your energy into that. So I'm actually going to start doing that because I needed to hear this, because I really do get caught up in that, this Torian doesn't like change. So when I see things close that I've liked to go to before and all that, it really, really saddens me a lot, which I think it does for a lot of people. But so so that being said, when will we experience abundance again? So that's going to help, is what we're getting at. Okay, that might help a little bit to change the outlook to like, oh God, everything's closer, things are just not the same, and start looking at like, can't wait to see what happens. What abundance now comes in, what kind of new things will be in. So when will we experience abundance again? I agree with you, Julie, as far as what I'm getting as well. It feels like the next year feels, well, what they showed me is January, as often January does with the new year, feels very hopeful for many people, right? It's not even coincidental that we really kind of have the New Year's idea, because there really is an opportunity then to kind of jump on that and say, oh, new things to come, whatever your goals are and all that good stuff, New Year's resolutions. I'm feeling like that there is more of that. There's a group of people that are, not everybody is, or showing me too positive about it. And then, we do start to perk up a little bit too. I maybe around the same time frame you're getting, Julie. At least that's a snapshot of what I'm receiving now, because I don't really do predictions, but that's what I'm getting at this time. And that it might go more into the summer also, where things are looking a little brighter. We've been whammied, our guides are saying. This pandemic and everything that's gone with that has emotionally done a number on many of us in varying ways, some more than others. Obviously, businesses and so forth. So they're reminding us that things like this take time to recover from. So we have to be patient, and we have to be patient with ourselves, but we can do a little bit by staying positive, seeing the energy out there. Certainly do whatever you need to do tangibly or get involved into to help anything, of course. But really the way our mindset is important as well. I think, I'm going to be honest, I think it's going to take a while to us to really get back to this abundance. But then that's not so surprising to hear after what we've gone through, right? And what businesses have gone through and that sort of thing. But start changing the mindset that your expectations are going to be that we will return, to this abundance of all these things that are mentioned here. I don't really follow stocks and all that stuff. So I'm not really savvy about any of that, but the shop's closing. Like I said, that one is my personal thing, just saying all of that, so I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to start looking at these things when I see them and say, oh, I can't wait to see what comes. I know it's going to be something really beneficial for everybody. And I'm going to hope it is the case, but I'm certainly going to put out my, my good energy and positive energy in that direction.
We love that. That's a wonderful focus to have, for sure. We just want to remind people, as you said, these are not normal times. And nothing about this is any of us have ever experienced. And so it's we're reactive mostly than proactive. But that's changing too. So I never I always marvel in the responses that I get from these amazing beings who have chosen to be with me. And they said, you chose us. I went, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a dual arrangement.
I did. I think they're right. I did. And I just remember back when the pandemic started, them and me asking, how long is this going to last before we have a similar sense of being back where we were before it started? And it was 3 years, and I was just aghast. I couldn't fathom that could happen. And yet here we are. It'll be 3 years, at the beginning of next year. So I'm going to hold them to it.
Yeah.
They said, yeah, we feel confident in that you're going to see maybe not exactly the way it was, but a sense of that things are coming back to a normality as we knew it.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
yeah, I have to share this, and this has nothing to do with that, but um, maybe we'll leave it for next time. I have noticed an increase in, we'll say, violence and crime and just God, awful, just ridiculous, horrible, awful things, very bad, horrible, and I worry. I don't worry about it, but I do. It is a little bit more in my consciousness than it has ever been, and so I'm hoping that maybe next time we can talk about that, and they can give me
Mhm.
some guidance, and obviously you some guidance about what that's about and how we can deal with it. So,
Yeah, no, that's a good topic, Julie, too. I thought the same. So that would be a good thing to ask about. And
right,
yeah, we'll definitely address that next time.
we will do it. All right. So
Yeah.
come back and just say Tammy's um, um, guidance is where I think we should leave it, about focusing on the positive of what can come, and any last positive thoughts you want to add to that.
Yeah, they're just saying again, keep the focus positive. They said it's more important now than ever, as that saying is, that we are doing that because we are in the midst of so much change and things that have happened that have been very challenging for all of us. So the more that you're able to really do your meditations, visualizations, get involved in anything that you feel can make a difference for you that you're really called to do. Don't let people talk you into stuff, by the way, to do stuff. If it resonates for you on a personal level, any kind of cause or anything you want to get involved in, really, really pay attention to that, because the reason they're saying that is it's going to be more effective if you go in, with something that you're passionate about, versus I think I should do this, kind of thing, right? Um, so yeah, that's kind of what they're saying. Again, planet Earth is they're saying a joyous opportunity for growth, for growth in many ways that you are not privy to, that you don't understand. And of course, we often get that picture when it is our time to transition, and we understand that then and have the full understanding of all the opportunity that was here. When I say that, what they just showed me is, oh my God, it was like in a split second, but they put it all in one thing. And I'm going to put it this way, they didn't say these words, but pity those, I will say, that did not stop and smell the roses along the way, regardless of what was going on in their world. Because there are plenty of roses, they're telling me right now, to be smelled and to be enjoyed. So we have to remember that, right? Remember again, and Julie and I have often talked about this, if you're getting bogged down with too much negative information, switch it off in whatever way it's coming to you, whether it's media, whether it's people talking too much, or we're reading things or whatever, switch it off, because we don't want to put our attention so much on those things, and really lighten up and get out by nature. We've said it before, it's kind of a no-brainer by now, most of us know that. It's a natural healer. So whatever way that you can do to stay positive in these uncertain times, as also that saying is. So
I
stay positive, stop and smell the roses.
Yeah, I think the whole roses, that is about saying be present, right? You can't live in
Yes,
the past and you can't live in the future. So
that's right.
book, be here now. And
Yeah,
because that's the only place we can be.
yeah,
And so we want to make it the best it can be every moment. So,
yep, absolutely. Agreed.
all right, dear friends, thank you
Hey,
so much for this time and for your questions. We so appreciate them, and hopefully others do as well. And keep sending them.
yes, yep. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate those questions. Keep them coming in.
We'll see you
Take
next
care.